Alright, shout out to and credit to Real Tune TV. I do not own the rights to this content that I'm about to share for entertainment and educational purposes only. You heard? So I got a snippet of OG Percy. You know what I mean? OG Percy, you heard? He's sharing some wisdom and observation of recent incident between Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb. You can look that up. Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb if you want the background to the situation. And basically what happened was, two men had differences and a little disrespect came in. And somebody had to put, Corey Holcomb had to put Anton Daniels in check. You know what I'm saying? He basically, he basically punked him. You know what I'm saying? He put him in check. And the detail that I want us to home in on is Corey Holcomb got in Anton Daniels' face and said, "Nigga, say that shit again. Say it again and see what happened." Now, I'm not saying that y'all go out there, you know what I'm saying, and get up in somebody's face and be so direct like that, you know what I'm saying, uncivilized or whatever else. I'm not recommending that. But what I am saying, taking the same spirit, this is what you got to do with your 12th house, first house, and second house, as I will explain. You got to be on this type of attitude. You got to be on this type of energy. Like, nigga, say that shit again. You know what I'm saying? I told you who I am. I told you what I'm on. I told you what I'm about. I told you what I'm not. And I'm not getting ready to play with you. I'm not getting ready to go back and forth on the bullshit of niggas assuming shit over me and my identity, my concepts and my beliefs, my values or whatever else. Say that shit again. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, you have to defend your values. You have to defend your constitution. You have to defend yourself, first house. You also have to defend your own concept of yourself and not let somebody infiltrate that or punk you out of it. You know what I'm saying? Or play games with you about it. You got to show and demonstrate how serious and sincere you are about these things. If you are weak, you will get ate up. Why? Because we have freedom now. If you want to claim freedom, you have to be able to defend that freedom. You have to be fit for freedom if you want freedom. If you want to enjoy freedom, you have to be fit for freedom. If you don't have fangs, if you don't have a sword, if you don't have claws, if you don't have camouflage, if you don't have the ability to climb a fucking tree and get the fuck out the way, nigga, you gon' get ate up. That's just the bottom line of it. And can't nobody sit around and cry like a bitch about it. You better evolve. That's the point. You had better figure out how the fuck to evolve. That's going from Capricorn to Aquarius. You better evolve. That's what this is about. It's about evolution, or you won't last. It's about evolution, or you will not be preserved. You will not be in the animal kingdom anymore. You will not be in the human kingdom anymore. You will cease to fucking exist. And it's your fault because you failed to evolve. You have to put your order into the universe. Hey, I need fangs. I need wings. I need claws. I need certain patterns on my skin, on my scales, so that I can hide behind a bush or a tree because I can't fight worth a damn, so I need a camouflage. I need to do something. But nigga, you gonna get ate if you can't evolve, if you can't get it together. Understand that. So let's listen to the wisdom and demonstration of OG. How he expounds. And what I see is, sharp street wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Street knowledge, street wisdom, you heard? Check it out, Don.
What you had to say one more time, he never said it. Now he can say it all the time now after this. It don't count no more. All that capping, let me tell you what he mad about. Let me tell you what he capping about. Why he on everybody else in the race? Because he want people to think that he stood his ground when we seen him not stand his ground. See, they wanted Corey to do something outside of, spit boxing. They wanted Corey to do something outside of spit boxing, so he probably walk away with the handcuffs on and everything. But he didn't. He did one thing, y'all. Pay attention to this. He told that man to say it again. If he that bad, say it, won't tell me to suck a dick again. That's all he said. And guess what? That nigga never broke. That nigga never said, and that's where the punking came in. All that time about he was shaking while he was saying it. He invited you to the fight, and he said, say what you say one more time and see what happened to you. That's all he was saying. Shit, other than that, we can have a good old show. We can carry on from here and continue high side and bullshit. But man, don't put no dick in my mouth though, homie. You know, I'm high side and talking about kissing ass and shit, but you sticking a whole dick in my mouth, man. Real. Come on, man, don't do that now. Damn, keep it capping. And then you want to start capping into capping. And then I said, let me trade seats. Nigga talking about, well, you getting all in my face. Well, this, like the nigga say, this is my show. I sit where I want to sit. See, you trying to act, see, you know, one thing about a nigga that spit box, once they know that's all it's going to be, they going to go. They going to go. When they see that you ain't going to do nothing to them, because all you got to do is do one more thing to get hit, and that's to say what you say again, which you never did. You know, you swallowed that bars. Oh, dang. Y'all heard that? Right on point, didn't he, man? And now he want people to see, I know what being hold is about. I know how to let my conversation hold a nigga too. That's all it was, a conversation holding another nigga. You understand me? But guess what? He's on everybody's platform trying to say, this is the reason, you know, and this nigga was scared. He was shaking in his boot. You should have seen him trembling. No, he wasn't. That's what you was doing when it was time he asked you to say one more time what you said. And you didn't. I'm going to tell you, that's why he's on all these shows trying to make it seem like he holed somebody, he punked somebody, he did this. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. All that old extra talk after what he was doing. My thing was, I was waiting on him to say what he said. When the man said, I ain't got no problem with you, just don't say that again. Oh, don't be getting all in my face. He said, man, I ain't got to worry about me getting in your face, just don't say that again. Oh, no, I can take it all out in the back if you want to. He said, we ain't got to go in the back, just don't say that again. you know, oh, what's up then? What's up with that, man? He said, ain't nothing up. Just don't say that again. You hear me? That's all it is to it. If anybody see it different than that, you tell me. I don't care what happened. All that old extra shit, then you can have it. Y'all see how slow he was getting up, going out there to the back, going, man, hey, man. This man gonna get back there. He ain't gonna do no more talking than what he was doing when he was in the face. If he wanted something, a real nigga gonna take flight. I ain't finna wait on nothing. I'm gonna go and make history. I'm gonna show my ass. I'm gonna go and show my ass out. Wait, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm gonna make a nigga out of a poster. What? You put this, what? I'm gonna light this internet up for the next 2 weeks. They're gonna have all kind of blogs, brooms, big head, bobbleheads doing shit on you and all type of shit. Cartoon characters.
You are going to have to stand your ground. You are going to have to be the one who demonstrates and make it very clear that you mean what you say, and you say what you mean when it comes to you being the one who has the concept of who you are, who owns the concept of who you are, who conceptualizes who you are, whose imagination validates and makes relevant the claim of the self. Not somebody else's ideals of you, but your ideal. Am I my own ideal, which is Aries Neptune? Am I my own ideal? And do you have authority with that mantra, which is Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries? Do you have authority with that mantra? Do you? You're going to have to defend it. How do you think that freedom is going to be possible without guarding it and preserving it? How? Where's your muscle? Where's your grit? Where's your strength? Where's your spine? Where's your guts? No glory if you don't got it. No glory if you don't got it. You better figure it out, or you better figure it out quick. You better figure it out quick. It's like the first day of prison. They put that honey bun on that bed, and you eat that honey bun. They gonna want that honey bun back. I need that honey bun. Nah, don't go in your commissary and get me another honey bun. I want the honey bun that's in your ass. Yeah, it's one of those. I want that honey bun. Don't fucking play with nobody about this shit, man. Don't play. There are too many assumptions over our identities. In the collective, with what corporate world has assumed globally through Khazarians and white Christian nationalists. And it's time for you to make your own claim of who you are, even if you have to go as so far as to nationalize and to claim private citizenship. I don't care what the fuck you do if you want to go that far. But it starts with the claim internally of the self, knowing that you are not who somebody else says you are. You are not what somebody else says you are. These are assumptions, judgments over you that are inappropriate in the assumption of power. In a microcosm in your own personal life, you know exactly where this is going on at, and you're going to have to do something about it. Let's look at another interesting fella. Fleece. Oh shit. Motherfucking Fleece Johnson, nigga. Motherfucking Fleece. Yo, let's look at yo, let's check out Fleece Johnson, nigga. Let's check out Fleece Johnson. Cause he makes a point. Alright? He makes a point with this Scorpio energy, which essentially is sexual energy. It's sexual energy that assumes sexual domination over another person, which is not necessarily the physical act, but to assume a state over another person's vitality and identity, which goes with 12th house, first house, second house, is to assume entitlement over that. That if you should clarify that you have your own idea over your life or yourself, that you have your own claim of your identity and what it should express, that your own value system may have some conflict or disagreement or objection to what somebody else wants it to be, that it becomes a problem. That they want to insult you, they want to shame you, they want to try to control you, they want to come against you, they want to reject you, they want to punish you, they want to give you some type of consequence just for claiming your own estate in the self. This is a problem. And it's no different than what Fleece Johnson explains in this recording that I'm going to show you. Every time I see this shit, this shit be out me cracking up, son. Alright, anyway, all rights reserved for entertainment and educational purposes only. I do not own the rights to this clip. And this clip is from, what does that say? Media Going.
A longtime inmate who practices a very different kind of homosexuality.
But we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them get hard. All of them's horny. All of them got sexual desires. So what are they gonna do? You won't let them have a woman. They gonna have somebody's gonna have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple.
The most memorable story that Fleece told us was about the place and importance that booty has in a maximum security penitentiary. And he went on about it and on about it.
In his prison, booty was more important than food. Booty, a man's butt. It was more important. I'm serious. It was more booty, having some booty was more important than drinking water, man. I like booty.
Johnson went on to tell our crew how he used to satisfy his sexual desires, especially during the 1970s and 80s, when he was most active and prison security was more lax.
When I see one, and he looks good to me, when I go see him, I say, you come here. I say, I'm telling you what, I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right? And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they sag their pants past their butt. It's a style, they call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they weren't prepared for this, right? So you sag your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt, you know, and it's just that simple.
Johnson even let the lockup crew know that when he was in his prime, they wouldn't be safe from his advances either.
If y'all had been in her back then in them days, and as much as I like booty, I probably felt one of y'all butts as y'all was walking past me and dared you to say so. I'm not no shame in my game. This is nothing that I'm ashamed to admit. I am what I am. I'm a warrior too, you know, so let that be known. I'm a warrior.
Coming up on Lockup Raw.
There are two sexual sources of energy that we're dealing with right now. South Node Virgo, number 9, that is over our 6th house, over what the intent is behind the refinement of the self, which glorifies Leo. So therefore, somebody else assuming right and entitlement over your light, over your talents, over your gifts, your 5th house, the glory of your 5th house, which goes through Venus. The number 9 process allows us to disconnect from the attachments that has us to become debtors and slaves to corporations and inappropriate powers and other people and circumstances that are not serving the purpose that we came here to do. Bringing it back to the divine value and intent. This is Jesus laying on the lap of his mother Mary. That process, number 9 hermit card, understand that. Just before resurrection of you, which goes through the 2nd of the sexual energy routes, Scorpio. And Scorpio has to do with assumption through synastry. Assumption through synastry. I assume that you are an empty, vacant vessel. And because you are an empty, vacant vessel, because you take no claim on yourself, because you show no competence for yourself, because you have no life pulse in yourself through knowledge, through awareness, through conviction, through clarification of who you are, where you come from, and why the fuck you here. I'm going to assign it to you instead, and I'm going to inherit your estate through synastry. So everything that is good about you, valuable about you, productive about you, possible with you, or any type of value or state that I can assume for myself, I'm going to claim it and place you in a status of non-descent so that you can't benefit from it, but I can instead. I'm taking over the whole trust of you, the self. And this is a problem. It's a problem in the corporate world or worlds globally, which corporate is not just in commerce, but it has to do with every process in politics globally, in banking globally, and what goes behind fiat globally. Understand? And how you come into play with that, where there's the assignment of races, status, false identities, alloidal titles that are not true of you and who you are. But through your consent to it, it subjects you to treaties that you have no knowledge about, statutes that you have no knowledge about, laws that you have no knowledge about, policies that you have no knowledge about. An inappropriate power manifests over you because of your ignorance. This has to be corrected, and the same thing takes place under your roof, in your family, in your village, in your community, with people who are close to you as well in the 8th house. This same thing takes place parallel to that. And this is the time where it has to be corrected. You got to do something about it. You can't just leave it like that. You got to get active. You have to get assertive about it. You got to throw your nuts around, nigga. Slam your nuts on the table. To clarify, this has everything to do with Vesta. Vesta processes through both Virgo and Scorpio sexual energy, our sexual source. Through Virgo, it ultimately leads to where you shine through Leo and the 5th house. Through Scorpio, it has to do with where you end up asserting yourself through the 1st house in Aries. Sexual energy ends here, and it processes through Virgo and Scorpio. This is why we need to understand this. And what satellites this sexual energy in balance is Vesta, the eternal flame. But that eternal flame requires a measure of devotion to the self, reverence for the self, respect and dignity to the self, to where you do not sell yourself, you do not prostitute yourself. Understand that part. Unum Sanctum over the world is finally coming to an end. It's dissolving. Unum Sanctum. Understand that. Unum Sanctum is on its fucking knees right now, you heard? All over the world, all peoples are learning that it's time to rescind assumptions and entitlements over their identity, over their own vision and concept for themselves, over their own value system for themselves. This is 12th house, 1st house, and 2nd house of every nation and every person. The macrocosm is also in the microcosm. So yes, it's also the case in your personal reality as well. Interpret it as you must. That's what time it is. And what this spells is coup d'etat. What this spells is revolution. What this spells is a revolt. The personal planets, it represents the constellations of the 12th, 1st, and 2nd house together culminated as how you express the personalized identity within the flesh dense body. Understand that. Which includes the imagination, the mind, the awareness of the self, the image, the character, okay? How you stand per se or persona. Understand? Not the dead corpse. Civilis mortuus. Nope. That ain't what we doing. We dissolving the civilis mortuus. We're dissolving the assumption of the dead corpse status. That is the incorporated status, 14th Amendment, that's been assumed over the world since centralized another bank by Khazarians. It's over. It's a wrap. But the revolt is internal first. The revolution is internal first. Do you got the guts to claim the glory? Do you got the guts to claim the glory? Do you or not? We about to find out. Internalize first. People are rejecting these assumptions of white Christian nationalists and Khazarians who conspired together to take over the world as they represented the only homeless ones on the planet. The only homeless ones on the planet. The only ones who are not tied to any particular land. The only ones who have not originated culture for themselves, identity for themselves. Thus, the assumption of entitlement to others' land, identities, and cultures, and resources. Understand that. The assumption of entitlement over their ideas, their genius, their imagination, their contributions to humanity. And when they should create or introduce them to such, they stamp their name on it and they erase the source from whence it came. Painting the world as something that everybody else is to assume their signature or proof and evidence of their greatness, which now is being exposed as an illusion. It's a big quote-unquote white lie. It's a big white lie. Genius did not originate with them. arts, math, sciences did not originate with them. Architecture did not originate with them. Philosophy did not originate with them. Creativity did not originate with them. And civilization especially did not originate with them. Hygiene did not originate with them. Nothing originated with them. It is not an insult to say that. It's not disrespect to say that. It's correction of status globally to acknowledge that fact. It's what they prefer you to believe and think. These assumptions are going back to the asshole that it came out of. Understand. The trick is up. The truth is out. This is the time period where we are clarifying that I am who I say I am, not who the fuck they said I am. I use myself as a so-called black experience so that you could translate the same meaning to yourself and your experience. However, unum sanctum was to assume over all people of the globe who are not white and who are not Khazarians. Assumption. We are rescinding all of these assumptions. Let me use myself as an example continuously, and you do the translation for your own personal self. I am not a Negro. I am not black. I am not colored. I am not African American. These are assumptions and judgments. These are social designations given me and my forefathers to have access to the estate that comes with my name, my claim, that I am to inherit through my forefathers, to erase the memory of my contribution to humanity in history, so that he could feel better about himself. Chop off a nose of a sphinx. Chop off the nose of Pharaoh to try to hide who somebody is. The motherfucker is desperate to feel great, to feel praise, to feel worship, to feel superior because he realizes he is not. He is not superior. He is not who he claims he is. He is not who you want him to think he is. He is not. He's scared and homeless in the earth. And the secret is up. Understand that. We have come full circle. All people are realizing that it's a fight of futility to think that your light skin is going to make you white, because it's not. That you're going to hide under the banner of Christian nationalism and betray everybody around you on leverage of your light skin and think that you're going to keep getting away with that bullshit. Meanwhile, while the darker or indigenous peoples of your nation, of your flag, of your home, whatever territory that you were born in or your forefathers come from, there are darker people there that you shitted on if you light skinned. There are darker people there who got mistreated. There are darker people there who are the same color as a cigar, as a penny, or as a chestnut, and you shitted on them because you thought that you could assume that you would be safer or you would be superior if you could blend in with whoever's light skinned. And that's a mentality that they taught you. And it's time to acknowledge it and undo it and send it back from whence it came, because that ain't come from you. You came from matriarchal source, not patriarchal assumption, detached from the matriarchal source. Nigga better get this right. Fuck is wrong with you? Get yourself together. You need to know who you are. You need to clarify who you are. You have to have a vision for yourself. You have to claim identity for yourself. You have to have a determination of what your future is going to be for yourself. You have to have value system for yourself and be willing to defend it. Otherwise, you deserve to go through the bullshit you go through. You deserve it. Because you want to walk around marching or protesting with little colorful poster boards. Running your damn mouth. We shall overcome. Kumbaya. The Lord gonna take care of it. Oh, we got some hope. Yeah, the Lord gonna take the good Lord. No. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Secret Treaty of Verona. Understand that. Scorpio comes into place here. And this is where this dark shadow aspect of Scorpio is expressing inappropriate power that the third degree of Aquarius is referencing back to. Understand that, which is where Pluto is at. All inner planets must salute Pluto into the third degree of Aquarius. Inappropriate powers, we are going to find our own empowerment and mount over this inappropriate power, leaving it behind and not taking it with us. Cycles of futility in Capricorn, where Mars is exalted. Mars don't know what to do. You got Mars confused. What's the marching orders? Am I working for you or am I working for this nigga? Who am I working for? Through Aquarius, we get access to Uranus, which is the new value system that stands there to defend the first house in the 12th house. Establishing new boundaries in the self that preserves the new values realized in the self. And that's through what? The process of refinement, number 9, South Node, Virgo. Purging ourselves from exploitation through Venus, which is what they want you to do. They want you to have addictions. They want you in pornography. They want you to fun. I like to travel. Dumbass dizzy bitches walking around. All sexed up, promiscuous, bumping into fucking walls. Everything's about play. YOLO. It makes you dumb. It makes you stupid. It makes you fucking retarded. Where you have no fucking sense. You can't get in touch with critical thought. You can't channel wisdom. You arrest your own development. What's the first thing Hitler did when he got into office? Ban all pornography and alcohol and all such things as exploits the spirit, so that there could be pride taken in the nationality of the peoples of his land, claiming nationality, which is the first step to power. It's the first step. Status correction, which equals nationality. Fuck is you talking about? The same thing is conspiring on your behalf by the forces of these planets. Somebody loves you from high. Somebody loves you because a favor is sure being done for you. But can we wake up? Can we get the newsletter? Can we get the memo? Can we participate? Open that mind up a little bit. Get a little curious. Want to understand from whence this comes? Come on, niggas. Fuck is you doing? Ain't you tired of jacking off in the corner, missing the fucking point, nigga? Who are you, and why haven't you claimed it? Now that you all got your wake-up call, that your light skin didn't make you white, now that you got your wake-up call, are you ready? Are you ready to focus now? Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. My beliefs, my convictions, truth that I realized through the body, not through reading a book, not through Google, and the manipulation of facts that are entered in the registry of Google. Khazarians who are rewriting history, just like the day of Reformation. Truth that returned to the body. I'm not going to find agreement. I'm not going to find validation or support. It's futile to wait on it. It's foolish to expect it or anticipate it. There will be rejection. There will be resistance. People will laugh at you. People will call you crazy or whichever else. But do you believe or not in the truth that arrived in your spirit? Do you believe it or not? You can't look around you for agreement. It's about whether or not you trust yourself. Do you trust yourself enough in the truth that's screaming at you? You're the one who has to introduce it. You're the one who has to deliver it as a revelation to the people. You're the one who has to project a vision that's consistent with that truth and establish it as a way out for everybody else. And not let it die to cowardice. What revelation have you caught? The whole entire earth is in judgment to the ones who suppress the earth through unum sanctum. Khazarians, white Christian nationalists, and their own women turn against them. Their own women see it. Their own women are holding them accountable. Their own women see the truth and revelation. Why? Because this is the matriarchal time where the truth comes back through the matriarchal, not the patriarchal. The patriarchal is to serve the matriarchal. And once you detach the patriarchal from the matriarchal, it no longer has relevance, a sense, of meaning, unless you go through the darkness. And when you go through the darkness, now you're practicing witchcraft and dark magic. A woman will always be in touch with that matriarchal source. No matter how much you try to corrupt her, she will sense it. She will get the revelation. She will be the oracle for that matriarchal source, the conscience of every people. And right now, she's the conscience for the very one who's being judged, the white Christian nationalist, and she's holding him accountable. She herself is exposing him. But will he repent? Will he confess? Will he turn around? Or will he keep pushing the arrogant agenda? We've seen this story before. We see how it turns out. Pharaoh thought that his military would save him. He thought that his power would last. He thought his dynasty would never end. He thought his reach was enough to box with God. Not so. Not so. When your women turn on you, you're in trouble. In your personal life, ask yourself, how long have you been walking around like an empty vessel? No vision for yourself. Not claiming an identity in yourself. You have nothing to defend of your own value system and your own conviction. So is it wrong for somebody to see that a vessel is not being utilized and possess that vessel, because vessels only get possessed when they're vacant? This is how you invite demonic spirits to possess the body. This is also how you have other people to assume entitlement over you. Because you're not using you. You're not utilizing you. You're not clarified in you. So you will get used. Is it unjust? Is it unfair? Nope, it's not. It's life. Get over it. You deserve it. During the 9 months, the Black Moon Lilith is transiting Sagittarius. That truth in you is going to want to go back to Scorpio. It's fighting not to get back to Scorpio. And Scorpio, that is this aspect of Scorpio in this context, it's where you are under the control and assumptions of others. It's where obsession was covering you. It's where somebody or something, such as an institution, it could be work, it could be a significant other. There was inappropriate power over you. And that's at Scorpio. That inappropriate power is read by third degree Aquarius, Pluto, which is where the conjunctions of all of these planets are taking place. And what that's doing is taking all of your inner planets, which is a constitution of the self, the stellium of the self, out of that loop of subjugation to inappropriate powers. This literally fulfills the definition of a revolution. It's a coup d'etat within. That revolution and coup d'etat within, it's overthrowing an inappropriate governance that has been assumed over you. And when you look at where the house of Aquarius Pluto is at, that's the place in your life where this inappropriate power has been manifesting over you. You have to look at Aquarius, third degree. What house is that? And how does that help you to see insight into what assumptions have been taken over you? Over what aspect of your life that you have to take back control of in order to innovate yourself, your circumstance, and to manifest revolution and revolt against those inappropriate powers as that stellium passes over from Capricorn, which was the loop of futility, into Aquarius, which is the new loop of opportunity. Understand that. So this is the correlation with that. Now, what I'm going to explain in this little discourse is a fact of how this relates to Unum Sanctum, Spanish Inquisition, and the spread of Unum Sanctum, Spanish Inquisition, which is through doctrine of discovery, and intercontinental through landmasses, manifest destiny. So the same way that this took place in history globally, it's also taken place, it has taken place within you. And this is where that gets corrected, where the assumptions that other people put over you of fictitious titles, incorporated titles and assumptions, just like the 14th Amendment, just like the incorporation of the entire world by the Vatican, okay, where the Hispanic person has been misnomered as Hispanic, and there's no such thing as a Hispanic person. Just as a black person has been misnomered as Negro, black, and colored, and there's no such thing as Negro, black, and colored. We are indigenous or even aboriginal native Indians and Moors. Just like people who are Chinese are called Chinese and are not, they're Manchurians. Philippines are part of the Moors. There have been mistitles all over this earth because somebody else put their nuts on their forehead and said, nigga, this is who you are. So this is correction of status. And correction of status is taking place through these series of events. And correction of status, it goes back to the natural person. It goes back to the living person. It goes back to the man and woman, the person who came from source. The person who stands in the image and likeness of God, which is not a fictitious title or an incorporated title, which is not a 14th Amendment assumption of alloquial, how do you say that? Alloidal titles. It's not an assumption of alloidal titles. It's your actual identity that you are reclaiming and correcting the status of. So the same way that this is taking place in civics, law, and politics, this now is taking place in the internal world of the self. And Scorpio is where that assumption was. Understand that. So we're going to clarify this as I, go down. I want you to ask questions if you need to ask questions. Also, get with me in a session if you need notes on this personally. Understand that, because, personally, everything applies uniquely. Now, based on this, what we want to do is we want to check ourselves. We want to examine ourselves. We want to scrutinize ourselves. We want to criticize and judge ourselves. Hold on now, slow down. What I mean is we need to do a moral check of ourselves. Okay, we need to do a moral check and examination of ourselves, a surveillance of ourselves. Look at your Scorpio placement. Make sure that at your Scorpio placement, in that reality, in that domain, in that world, in that jurisdiction in your life, and the interactions that you have with other people, that you are not taking assumptions over other people's imagination, free thought, opinions, beliefs, convictions, 12th house Pisces, that you are also not taking over or domination and assumptions over their perception and concept of their self. Make sure that you are not assuming or assigning identity to other people. Make sure that you're not assigning identity to other people, okay? And then punishing them if they should disagree. Punishing them if they should object. Punishing them if they should choose to exercise their own free will. So in other words, you have to respect the Constitution and peace treaty between you and other people. Don't violate. You know what I'm saying? Like, between you and other people, you have to assume that peace treaty, you have to assume that Constitution, and you have to honor it. That goes back to Cancer. Now, second house, make sure that you are not violating somebody's boundaries. Some people struggle to speak up for themselves. Some people struggle to defend themselves. Some people have such a hard time finding a way to say the truth, to correct the record, to let you know, hey, listen, you're doing too much. You overstepping. I don't feel comfortable with that. Why do you keep doing that? Don't think, no, that's not what I agree with. That's not what I think. Don't get complacent about this. Because people struggle so hard to speak up for themselves, and the main reason why they struggle is not because they don't have the strength. It's not because they don't know how. It's because they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want you to feel offended. They don't want you to feel disrespected. They don't want to destroy the line or the connection of love, faith, unity, family, whatever there is that's sacred between you and that person, that intimate space. They don't want to violate it. They appreciate it, they respect it, they honor it, and they want to protect it and preserve it. They don't want you to be offended at them. They don't want you to look different at them. They don't want you to cut them off. They don't want you to reject them. They don't want you to feel loveless. So they struggle to say something. Don't take your nuts and sit it on everybody's fucking forehead, thinking that it's okay. You can't just walk around throwing your nuts on niggas' foreheads. Come on, like, make sure that at that Scorpio placement, you are not doing that to somebody. Something that Scorpio often forgets to do is to ask the other person what they think, what they believe, who they say they are, what they want to do, how they want to do it. They forget to ask Scorpio, are you comfortable with that? Are you okay with that? Am I making you uncomfortable? Am I violating? Am I overstepping? Scorpio has many assumptions. There are many assumptions that take place from Scorpio. Understand that. When it comes to that Scorpio placement, where are you taking assumptions of other people that are based on your past fears, your past insecurities? Assumptions that are based on your need to feel control, your need to feel safeguarded from the inevitable, or safeguarded from what you imagine, predict, or expect to go wrong. It makes us very toxic. It destroys intimacy. It burdens those who really want to love us. And it misconstrues perception. We really need to visit this. Also, what I want to emphasize is that this is the very reason why your first house, you have got to assert your identity. Assert your identity, because if you fail to assert your identity, somebody's going to instill or assign an identity to you. And you're going to have a hard time defending that. You're going to have a hard time speaking up if you're somebody who is tender in heart. If you're somebody who cares about how you make people feel, because you're going to have to hurt some feelings to correct status. You're going to have to disappoint people to correct status. You have to tell somebody to suck your dick, you heard? You have to tell a nigga to suck my dick. I'm not doing that. I'm not on that. That's not who I am. And you don't want to go there. You might have to slap the taste out of niggas' mouth, and you don't want to go there. I'm not saying this let me be responsible. I'm not saying this literally, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a job, it's a task to correct status. When people already have a bunch of assumptions about you, about what you believe in, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you're about, what you prefer, what's better for you, what's not. So that 12th house, that first house, and that second house, there's a lot of assumptions. And it can get very complicated. Assumptions and judgments. And this is about rescinding. Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius is about rescinding all judgments on you. Rescinding all assumptions over you. Rescinding. I rescind that judgment. I rescind that assumption. And I'm correcting status. That's what the conflict of Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius is about, because it aligns with the truth. Understand that. That transfer of the stellium between Capricorn and Aquarius is about the futility cycles in Capricorn and finding a way out of that loop through Aquarius. Understand that. All right, so what I want to explain applies to the 8th house, and it goes along the lines of being a vacancy in yourself in the first house and Aries, being a vacancy of yourself in the first house of Aries, also being a vacancy of yourself at Taurus. Understand, being a vacancy in yourself at Taurus. Now, what do I mean by this? Your identity and your values. Your identity and your values. If we include what's prior to Aries, that would be Pisces, so your vision, all right? So let's just go ahead and include this 3-pack. Your vision at the 12th house, Aries, first house, your identity that you claim, the status that you claim, and Taurus, the values or value system that upholds it all, which requires your boundaries, of course, and self-esteem to empower it, or keep it charged. Now, the vacancy, it works like this. You hear me often refer to manifest destiny, doctrine of discovery, under unum sanctum. Now, unum sanctum was the Pope bull that, through justification of Paul, the Pope assumed ownership of all people in the globe. Quite arrogant, right? Okay, so that's just a small summary. And he sanctioned that his officers throughout the world would spread this doctrine, would spread this assumption, and use force in order to establish it, in order to solidify it. And so this went with the Spanish Inquisition, of course. The Spanish Inquisition had to spread from Europe outward into the world. Spain, England, France, okay? It had to spread out into the world. So in spreading out to the world, that was done through doctrine of discovery. Doctrine of discovery took assumption over lands, land masses, continents, countries, islands, whatever they reach off of these ships. The assumptions were taken on land masses. Understand that. And within the land masses itself was manifest destiny. That was another one where, because I'm white, because I'm European, or because I'm Khazarian, as long as you fit one of these descriptions, you were assumed to be manifesting destiny by your presence there. God wanted you there, all right? So God made you special, where if you white or you Khazarian, that, nigga, this shit is mine. And this assumption goes along this line. I have a vision. I have a fiery vision, Pisces. I have a strong sense in my identity, Aries. And I have determined to put a great deal of ambition, even ruthlessness, behind my values, second house. So this is a strong force of homeless people on the globe, okay? That is Europeans and Khazarians, the homeless people on the globe, because they were the last ones here. So they don't have a landmass to claim of their own. When they got here on the scene, people was already here millions of years before them. Millions and millions of years before they ever jumped on the scene. So these homeless motherfuckers, they had to develop a strong constitution within themselves, conviction within themselves that I'm going to change my reality. I'm going to change my, my situation. And their desire and vision for that was intensified by the crisis of their circumstance, especially with Khazarians being kicked out of every landmass that they ever went to. Everywhere they went, niggas was kicking them out. And so what ends up happening is they run into people who may have fallen into complacency with their status, complacency with their identity, complacency with their values, not as intensified as theirs is, because imagine this small group of people on earth. You're homeless, you're hungry, you're full of intensity because you're trying to change your situation. You're trying to manifest and create a cure or a solution for the crisis that you find yourself in. That intensity or that hunger, it makes a beast of you. It does. It really makes a beast of you. I'm not saying that in a condescending way. I really say that in a way is where in these days it becomes a formula for even self-improvement. Where you allow the crisis of your circumstances, you allow the lack, you allow hardship, difficulty, you allow isolation, loss, setbacks, disappointment, so on and so forth, to generate a spirit in you that becomes quite charged with ambition, fortitude, perseverance, strength, resilience. All right. It generates that fire inside of you to conquer something for yourself. All right. And that's only natural. And so with what they had going on, especially coming out of the Dark Ages, which was specifically to Europe, not the rest of the world. Everybody else wasn't in the Dark Ages, okay? Europeans was in the Dark Ages. Don't get that shit twisted. Them niggas went into that shit, all right? The rest of the world had their enlightenment. The rest of the world knew what the fuck they was doing and whatever else, okay? Everybody wasn't living in fucking mud huts like they want people to think. You know what I mean? And so anyway, you pull up to an island, you see a people, and a people are living the way that they choose to live in their civilization, but here you are, you have a different vision. You have a different idea of how this land can be used, how it can be utilized, how to innovate it, how to get the most out of it, in your opinion or your scope. But the land is not yours. The shit ain't yours. It's kind of like, for example, you got, okay, a man sees you with a woman, or a woman sees you with a man, and they say inside of their head, if I had that woman, I would do her like this, or I would do her like that. If I had that man, I would treat him like this, or I would treat him like that. But nigga, that's not your wife. That's not your husband. So it don't matter what the fuck you imagining in your head. It's not your wife. It's not your fucking husband. But there's an assumption of entitlement that a person has over something that they assume or see as not being utilized to its maximum potential. So therefore, I'm going to assume rights over it, and I should be the one to have it because the vision that I have and the entitlement that I have to manifest the vision that I have over what I feel you are not utilizing to the maximum capacity, it should belong to me and not you. It should be mine and not yours. That's dog eat dog world. That's just how life goes. You know, I can't necessarily have a gripe with that thought process because I understand that that's the nature of the mammal. Okay, that's the nature of the mammal. You'll never remove that instinct, but it's very close to jealousy. It's very close to envy. It's very close to ruthless ambition. It's very close to the Shadow 8. It's also very close to what I'm going to go into, Scorpio. Understand that. Scorpio's the basis of what I'm saying, and Scorpio, as you know, through sexual energy, it relates to Capricorn. All right? I explained that in the video that goes before this. So anyway, you pull up to a land and you look at the capacity of land that they have. Like, for example, when Manifest Destiny was taking place and, you know, white folks was pushing indigenous and Native Americans out, you know, as they were going to the West, fighting them the hell off. These niggas killed off the fucking buffalo. Okay, they killed them the fuck off. The buffalo. The level of entitlement. The level of entitlement. Okay, the entitlement that they had to land masses that were easier to cultivate, to produce, you know, crops and things of that nature, or real estate that was already being, you know, utilized as farmland or other production, you know, cash crops, things of that nature. So I feel like my vision will be more effective. I feel like my vision will be better or more appropriate. So I'm going to assume entitlement over this, and I'm just going to kill you and get you the fuck out the way. We going to go to war because I should have this, not you. I could do better with it than you do. But you're in the way with what you got going on. So I need all the, no, I don't need a little bit of space. I need all of that. I have to lay railroad tracks through here. Y'all niggas got to go. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care what you got going on. You got to go. So this arrogance, these assumptions, okay, that swept all over the lands. This, likewise, okay, Manifest Destiny and Doctrine of Discovery. It's the same thing that takes place with Scorpio, and you got to be careful. When Scorpio energy is lingering as an unevolved energy in a person, an energy that a person has not learned yet to submit to wisdom, civilized insights, self-restraint, discipline, mutual respect, ethics, understanding, compassion. Everybody doesn't know how to manage the energy that they got, okay? So a person with strong Scorpio energy, they can take these same assumptions over another person's Pisces, Aries, and Taurus in that order. The whole fucking thing, okay? It's like three parts that they just grab with their hand like a sandwich and just assume entitlement or control over that motherfucker. I'm going to own your vision, Pisces. I'm going to own your identity, Aries, and I'm going to own your value system. Since you failed to express a definite clarity, assertion, and conviction in your own imagination, vision, identity, and value system. Since you seem hesitant about it, since you seem unsure about it, since you don't seem so confident about what your vision is in life, since you don't seem so confident about what your identity is, who you really are, since you don't seem so grounded in your value system and what you stand for and what you believe in, and especially since you don't seem willing to defend it, If I come over there and I want it, you ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do a motherfucking thing. I'ma just come there and just snatch that shit. I'ma come and take your shit, nigga. And what you gonna do about it? I'm gonna tell you what your vision is. What you gonna do about it? I'm gonna tell you what your identity is. What you gonna do about it? I'm gonna tell you what your values are, what you believe in, what you stand for or not. Fuck your self-esteem. Fuck your boundaries, second house. I'm going to step over it. I'm going to walk all over you. I'm going to assume entitlement over you. I'm going to crowd your space. I'm going to violate what's personal to you. I'm going to be all up in your business. I'm going to be going through your phone, through your paperwork. There's no secrets. Ain't no secrets. You're not allowed to have any secrets. Everything is accessible to me. Keep them legs open for me. You don't close your legs around me. You keep your legs open for me. That's the assumption of Scorpio when it's unevolved. You think what I tell you to think. You imagine what the fuck I told your ass to imagine. You dream what the fuck I told your ass to dream. Don't bring down no fucking dream. Who the fuck are you? Did I tell you to dream that? Did I tell you to visualize that? Did I tell you to claim you being this certain person? Did I tell you that that's what you believe in? Did I tell you that that's what you want to do with your life? Did I tell you that that's what makes you happy? Did I tell you that that's appropriate for you? Did I tell you that that is what aligns with your soul's journey and path? Did I tell you that that's going to be fulfilling for you and satisfying for you to do in your life or be in your life? Did you ask my permission? Did you get my consent? Yeah, that's Scorpio unevolved. And someone or something in your life can manifest that Scorpio type energy, taking assumptions over your imagination and your vision. 12th house, Pisces. Taking assumptions over your identity, first house in Aries. Taking assumptions over your values, your self-esteem, and your boundaries, second house in Taurus. To where you feel like any minute now, this motherfucker could grab you with no Vaseline, start fucking the shit out of you, and ain't nothing you can say. That's basically what it is. Ain't no Vaseline or nothing. Nigga just grab you out of nowhere. Come here. And just start fucking the shit out of you, and ain't shit you can say or do. Bring that pussy right here, nigga. That's basically what it is. And you better like it. You better like it. You gonna bring that pussy right here, and you gonna like it. That's what time that kind of energy is on. It's manifest destiny on you. It's doctrine of discovery on you, on your Pisces territory, on your Aries territory, on your Taurus territory, on your 12th house, on your first house, on your second house. It's the assumption of unum sanctum over your 12th house, first house, and second house. Unum sanctum. Nigga, I own you. I'm writing a Pope bull over you and your whole identity, which includes the 12th, first, and second house. So you hesitate to dream for yourself, and you hesitate to claim your status and who the fuck you are. You hesitate to express boundaries when you feel like you're being violated, like somebody going too far or stepping on your rights to free expression in your life. You hesitating because you still feel like somebody's personal whore. You still feel like somebody's slave. You still feel like you don't have a right to have a voice or imagination because the pimping is working too well. You love the pimping. You love getting pimped out. You feel better that somebody else can decide for you instead of you because you don't trust yourself. It's unum sanctum over you. As above, so below. Any law that is active in earth is also active in spirit. In fact, it originated from spirit, but it was realized in earth as a reflection. You will never find a law in earth that is not the same as spirit, because that's where the fuck it came from, nigga. Fuck you thought was going on. Come on, wake up. Hello. Fuck y'all niggas mean. Come on, man. We do we understand? Do we understand how this shit works? Do we have an understanding of how this works? That Scorpio energy, it precedes Sagittarius Black Moon Lilith. And Black Moon Lilith is trying to stop your truth from falling back into that Scorpio paradigm of domination and control and assumption over your identity, over your being, over your value system and who you claim you are, and over your boundaries, your imagination. Now, here's where you deserve it. Here's where you deserve it. If you want freedom, you have to be able to defend the freedom. If you want freedom, you have to be able to defend the freedom. If you have no defense system, you have no way to fight or resist tyranny, to resist oppression, to resist someone overtaking you or overthrowing you, someone infiltrating you. You have no militant resistance about you. That's your lot in life. Oh well, winners, losers. Dog eat dog world, survival of the fit. Survival of the fit. A rabbit will never take over an eagle. A rabbit will never catch an eagle. The rabbit is always going to be the food of the eagle. So you better figure it out. You better evolve. And that's what the evolution process is about, from Capricorn into Aquarius. It's an evolution of yourself, and the evolution may include, I have to grow fangs. I have to grow fangs. I have to develop venom. I need claws and talons. I need fucking scales. I need wings. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you need, but you need something so you stop being a fucking pushover, so you stop being a pussy. You need something so you're not sitting there defenseless. Should I stand up for me? Should I stand up for myself? Should I say something? No, yeah, nigga, you gonna get 8. Yeah, the eagle is not gonna skip you because you crying. The eagle is not gonna skip over you because you fucking crying. You just gonna have tears in your eyes while it's pulling the intestines out your stomach, nigga. That's it. That's all that's gonna happen. Nobody is gonna feel sorry for you. Ain't gonna happen. You better figure that shit out. Get the fuck up, get it together. You better do some push-ups, nigga. Shadow boxing. Yeah. You gonna find yourself in a situation. It's like you get locked up and you become somebody's bitch or something. Yeah, you better get it together. Because you will get fucked in the ass. Yeah. Don't drop your soap. Your Pisces, your Aries, and your Taurus. It better belong to you, and you better be loud about claiming it. Outwardly expressive about how you claim it. Who are you? It should be clear who you are, what you about, what you are, and what the fuck you ain't finna do. Clarify your values. Demonstrate strong and healthy fortified self-esteem. Have certainty about what vision you have for yourself. Because if you don't have a vision for yourself, somebody else who has the vision for you now exercises manifest destiny or doctrine of discovery over your imagination. Okay, you don't have an imagination for yourself? Guess what? I'm going to install a vision into you. so that it can serve me. Because you ain't using your imagination. You ain't using your mind. Okay, you don't know what you want to do with your talents and gifts? I can see what your talents and gifts are. You can't see it, but I'm not going to tell you that. But I'm going to step ahead of you and utilize your talents and gifts to benefit me, to serve me. Because you don't have no boundaries. You don't give a fuck. I see what your identity could clearly manifest in this life, and I'm going to make sure that it benefits me, that your identity is subservient to the ideals and preferences that I have. You're not using it anyway. You got a body that you're not using. You have imagination you're not using. You have gifts you're not using. You have a heart that you're not using. You have emotional constitution that you are not using. You have wisdom that you are not using. You have past life wisdom and experiences that your self knows that you are not utilizing. You have an Aries placement of capability to initiate processes, opportunities, and creations that I don't have the ability to initiate into existence, but I can get you to do it because you're docile. You don't want to use your imagination. You don't want to claim your identity, so I'm going to claim it for me, and I'm going to own you. And you're going to live your life for me, feeling exhausted and don't know why. So you can't see that if somebody's up here trying to motivate your ass to get this shit together, nigga, you doing yourself a favor by listening. You ain't doing me a favor. You doing yourself a favor by listening. Why ain't you figured it out yet? You gonna get mad at somebody who installs a vision into you because you don't know how to bring a vision down. And in some cases, this is quite natural. It don't always, it's not always an unnatural thing for every person. And I say that because some of us are creators and some of us are executors or processors, logistics, behind the scenes, number 8, number 4, number 11, 22, okay? Not everybody is here to create and originate. However, everybody is here to claim their own identity, to claim their own imagination, to claim their own value system. And you may pair with somebody or some others or a community, institution, a project, a operation, a mission, whatever it is, that allows you to fulfill that identity through that. But if you're not claiming it, somebody else can come and infiltrate it, and you'll find yourself being something that you don't even believe in, doing something you don't believe in, identifying with something that is not natural to you, true to you, or alien to you. Understand that. And that's what that Scorpio energy wants to do. It wants to call you back into that servitude. It wants to call you back into that domination, obsession, and control over your Pisces, your Aries in your second house, your 12th, your first, and your second house of Taurus. Something's calling you back there. Something keeps calling you back to that domination and control, that assumption and judgments over you and your identity. People who make assumptions over what you should believe in and who you should be and how you should use your energies, talents, identity, gifts, skills, time, or whatever else may have you. That conjunction of the Sun and Pluto at Aquarius, it was a time where we were supposed to realize that the pattern of futility in that, it has to end, because the Capricorn matches the Scorpio in that case. But now that Pluto and the Sun, or all planets conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius, it means that we're finding our way out of that loop. We're getting out of the rings of Saturn, and we are giving Mars a new loop to respond to, a new pattern to respond to, accessing it through the territory or the dominion of Uranus, the algorithm called Aquarius. This is where we're realizing the futility in that. And we have to innovate ourselves if we are to adapt to a constitution in the self that is not going to be just taken over. This includes new defense systems. When Mars crosses over Pluto, this is where we realize new defense systems that preserves that. New instructions, new marching orders for our military, our inner military. So we don't get overthrown and taken over as a new republic in the South. The South Node Virgo leads to South Node Leo next. That's what's coming up next. And Jupiter's going to be there expanding the blessings that we now have capacity and room for, now that we learn to redirect our sexual energy towards the mission, the purpose. Understand that. We revolutionized that. And it's about Leo. Virgo makes Leo shine in the algorithm of spirit within the self. It's where the refinement of that lump of gold comes from. As for Scorpio in the 8th house, the shadow work that we spent all of 2025 working on. And Black Moon Lilith will spend the next 9 months helping us to understand how to incorporate all of our forces in the best interests of the self, not to slip back into subjugation through consent and ignorance into inappropriate powers and measures assumed over the self as entitlement over the self because of our incompetence and our willfulness to subjugate ourselves to a status of civilitas mortus or dead corpse status. Understand that. And it is parallel both in heaven and in the earth. Do we get this? Scorpio sexuality rises to the first house in Aries. And what's up next? Aries, Neptune, and Saturn. Yes, this transit is being prepared by learning how to properly direct, conserve, manage, and be intentional behind the sexual energy of Scorpio that regenerates the first house in Aries over and over again. Why? Because it reroutes it back to the loyalty of the constitution of the self, the instincts of the self through Mars, and the psychological resilience that we have obtained through Pluto. So, you need to get personal notes about this for yourself. You got to get with me for that. Understand. Honor your divine light. I want you to look at your Leo placement. Also want you to take into consideration your 5th house. This is where you are illuminated at naturally. You don't have to put on the act. You don't have to try to be. It's just there. The light just shines through. And when you are present at this particular house, this is where envy and jealousy comes in. This is where people tend to look at you feeling threatened inside of themselves because their light has not been refined in that particular place or aspect of themselves. This is where the awkwardness comes in when you step into the situation and you shine with the brilliant light of the gold that Virgo has refined and brought to its brilliance and luster. Understand that. You don't have to apologize about this. You don't have to speak first. You don't have to be the one that lightens the tension and takes the burden off another person because they find themselves awkward in your presence because you happen to be shining right here. Shine. Stand there and shine, not out of arrogance, but out of the fact that you realize you are grounded. It is for you to be grounded. Be the calm, still light, the flame of the candle that doesn't move and shake all over the fucking place. Understand that. It's not time to apologize. It's not time to apologize for having light and illumination. If we commit to the Virgo process through the number 9 application, understand that light of Leo shines brilliantly. Brilliantly. How's your light? How's your light? How's your luster? Understand. So, get with me behind the scenes so you can get personal notes, instructions, and insights into what all of this means for you without taking assumption of how this whole entire discourse could apply to you because all details have to be taken into consideration for every person. And we should know and have the appropriate or proper insight into all of this so that we can have accurate strategies, intentions, and bring down the proper vision that reflects the constitution of the self and not somebody or something else that we assume. Let's not assume, let's know.